Welcome back, fine feathered folks.
Feathered?
Yeah, man. We're
Our audience is birds?
yeah, for the most part, I would imagine. You know.
Really?
We're back at Casa de Porn. My name's Darius. I'm here with my main man Marcel. You're in for another installment of the RomeBros. Here for more village building. Main man's made a lot of progress.
I didn't actually. I just finished the bridge, but we, as a collective whole, have made some crazy process. I don't know if you remember how this looked on like day one, but it was not this. So.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you
Look at
being
that.
inclusive, but this has been doing the majority of the heavy lifting on this.
Hey, you're only as strong as your weakest link, right?
Oh man. Well,
So
yeah.
that means you're the strongest member.
I don't think that's. I don't.
That's exactly how it works.
Is that how it
Yeah.
works? Yeah.
That's how it works.
Man. Well, so anything new or anything going on?
Well, the car situation. I don't think I told you. Girlfriend got a car.
Oh no, you didn't.
I did not.
So you guys did make you landed on what was it, a Pathfinder? You guys were
No.
looking at? No.
Hey, you're doing your best out there, man.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm trying. I was like, think of a car. Any car.
I'm going to interview the T-Man. You can interview the T-Man. Why does the T-Man have 2 cups of tea?
Oh, I thought you were like digging for car documents, but you're
No. No. So, as with any car buying experience, it starts with a story, okay? So, I told the other car buying stuff on, 2 weeks ago, probably?
Yeah.
At this point, so go check out those episodes if you haven't seen them already. So, we decided, at the end of the last one, we decided my girlfriend needs to save some money to get a car. That was the kind of the end. How many is this? I feel like that's not long enough. That was the general consensus. So, probably that went out the window, 2 weeks later, and she's like, I need a car. Because she doesn't like not having a car. And I'm like, okay.
Understandable.
Well, It's your night. Oh, what am I doing here? Okay, I see.
Oh man, I gotta reach out to my buddy Frank, man, because I feel like that's like the second Bon Jovi reference that you.
It's Your Life, It's Now or Never is Bon Jovi?
I believe so.
Alright.
Yeah, because he got at another buddy of ours' wedding. He got really mad at the DJ because the DJ didn't have any Bon Jovi, and we kind of had to talk him down.
I mean, that is a crime, though, to not have any Bon Jovi. Really.
Well, that was his sentiment. He's like, "How are you a fucking wedding DJ? You don't have any Bon Jovi."
Anyways, so my girlfriend's like, hey, she needs a car. And I'm like, alright, I can take you to a store if you want to go shopping. So we're looking for cheaper cars. As well as we were looking at were $30,000 or above, which was just a little bit too much.
It still astounds me how much things cost, man. Like, I'm so out of the loop with being a grown up. You know what I mean?
You never had to buy a car, so.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, you get good for you right there, honestly.
I mean, I guess that depends on who you ask. The poor soul's stuck having to take me anywhere.
It's not that big of a deal, man. I'm telling you, just get a bike, man. That's what I did. Then no one gotta take you anywhere.
My whole fear about learning to ride a bike, kind of what do you do with your balls?
What do you mean? What do you do with your balls? You put them on the seat.
I don't know, dude. It just feels like that would hurt. It doesn't hurt.
Oh, it hurts.
So that's what I'm saying.
You can argue with it there, man.
So it does hurt, and then it's really if you're going down a hill or something, all of that jostling by your balls, it's just always been a.
Well, so usually when you're riding a bike, I would say probably more than half the time you're standing up. Probably.
Oh, so you're not sitting directly on your balls, is what you're saying?
Right. Well, because you have the seat, which is the world's most uncomfortable seat. I don't know why the seat has to be like that. I don't know. I feel like there's just a better way to make the seat that isn't just horrible like that. But anyways, when you're pedaling,
Yeah.
you get better leverage if you're standing.
Okay.
So,
Maybe there is Like a ball-friendly bike seat out there somewhere for...
There probably is, but
Yeah.
I just don't know why it's not default. Like,
yeah, you would think that would
even
be
for girls, it's a super uncomfortable seat. Like, it's not just the balls; it's just like in general, it's just an uncomfortable ass seat design.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the point of it was. I'm sure there's some reason why it's there, but whatever. So if you're looking at cheap cars,
Oh, my
online-
bad. Yeah.
I'm getting sidetracked. Hey, that's what it is here in RomeBros. All right, sidetrack city.
Yeah.
That was what they called us back in college. So we're looking for some cheaper ones, and instead of looking at the main brands, Honda, Toyota, you start looking at the off brands.
Okay.
Your Hyundais, which is Honda but with more letters.
Wait a minute. So Hyundai is like that's like the cheapo. That's like the.
I don't know if it's just a different brand.
You made
But
it
like
sound
your
that's
main, like your main car brands that are like known for their reliability are Honda and Toyota.
Okay.
So like if you buy a Honda or a Toyota, in general, you can expect your car to last longer than if you buy it anywhere else. Obviously, you can't say for certain. It depends on a lot of different factors that you can't control, but like on average, they last longer. So we start looking at those, and we find that Mazda.
Okay, now I've heard of them. Mazda.
Okay.
Okay.
They have a car for like $25,000, which is a lot less than $30,000. In case you can't do math, almost 20% cheaper, which is pretty good. And it looks like a pretty standard car. Nothing too special about it. Looks like it might work for my girlfriend. And then we look at Hyundai, not Honda. Hyundai. They're different. For all you car nerds out there. And they had a $20,000 car.
Okay.
Which, like, if you're buying a car for $20,000, that's a risky play. It's like you get what you pay for, and if you're only paying $20,000, you might not get very much. So that one was risky, and then they had like another one that was like 25, and another one that was like 27. So Hyundai had like 3 cars that were cheaper than $30,000. And looked like my girlfriend probably wouldn't hate them.
Like she wouldn't hate them?
Yeah, she would not hate them because she didn't. Because the Civic, right? The Honda Civic was under $30,000, but my girlfriend didn't like it. If you remember from the last episodes, so we're trying to find a car my girlfriend likes, but it's under $30,000. That's kind of what we were looking for.
Yeah.
And the first expedition we didn't find it, but this time we're like, okay, we're gonna go out. I'm going to drive to Columbia. Columbia has a Mazda and a Hyundai dealership. So look at that. Look at how great that is. Just so perfect. So we go to Mazda first. And we turn to Mazda. And we see a sign that says, like, service. And we're like, okay, where's the sales part? So we, like, turned into the back behind where it said service. And it's just, like, an empty parking lot. Like, you're obviously not supposed to be there. And we're like, okay, we're not supposed to be here. So we drive around to the front. And we're like, where is the sales part? That sign says service. So, we drive around and a dude in a suit comes up to us and he, like, pretty obviously works there. So I roll my window down and I'm like, hey, where do I park if I want to test drive some cars? And he's like, well, just park anywhere. And then we park and then he greets us and he's like, hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. And we're like, oh, and he's like, oh, come on inside. What are we trying to do? Can I help you some water? The standard dealership. So this was a normal dealership.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy here. Not like the weird one that I talked about last week where the dealer guy was just absolutely horrible. This guy was exactly what you would expect from a dealership. So we're like, yeah, we want to test drive your, I think it was the CX-30 was the one we wanted to test drive. And he was like, all right, yeah, sure. Let me hook you up. So he, goes and grabs the keys, takes us to the 630, and the 630 is parked on, like, an entrance to their lot. That's, like, a really pretty steep hill, right? It's, like, a really short hill. It's just, like, a little drive to get into their lot, but it's really steep. And the car is parked there so that, I guess they didn't want cars to come in that way to their lot. They wanted them to come in a different way. For some reason, I don't know why they would care, but that's evidently why it was there. So when my girlfriend gets in, she's like, you can't see because the car's at such an angle. Like, you can't see in front of you, right? Because it's like you're looking up, but you want to look straight. So it's hard for her to see. And I don't know, I think she felt kind of like pressured to drive it quickly or something, Anyways, we get driving it. She's not liking it. And it's like, well, that freaking sucks. That was supposed to be the... that was supposed to be the one! That was gonna be the car! So the main reason, again, that she didn't like it was because it was a little bit too small for her in the cabin.
Yeah.
Like, she was able to fit in it, but it was like, you know...
There's not much room for anything else.
Yeah, like her head was almost hitting the roof. Because she's
damn.
so tall there, so... Yeah, so we were like, hey, you got anything with, like, just a little bit more space in the front? And he was like, yeah, we got a CX, I think it was the CX-5 that we did after that. And that one was, like, again, right at that $30,000 mark. So it was like, you know, if we're going to spend $30,000 on a car, why wouldn't we go with the Honda, you know?
Yeah.
But we get in it, my girlfriend likes it a lot more. It's a lot better. And then we go back inside, and they're like, well, what do you think? And this guy, like, I know he's doing the standard dealer stuff, but it was, like, just so crazy, like, how intense he was going with it. So he, you know, asked us what we were thinking about it, and I don't know, like, so at the point, something came up where he was like, you know, wanted to get an estimate on how much the monthly payments would be. And so I told the dude, you know, I was like, well, hey, we don't really want to do more than a 5-year loan. So if you're going to give us an estimate on what the price, the monthly payments might be, you know, we don't want more than a 5-year loan. So dude proceeds to whip out his calculator and does the worst math I have ever seen anyone do in my entire life. Okay? It was crazy. Like, you work at a dealership, you work with interest rates and loans, like, for a living. And all he did was he took the price of the car and he divided it by 72. That was it. Which is for a 6-year loan with 0 interest. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the math he did. I'm like, buddy, that's not what I asked for. I asked for a 5-year loan, which is going to have interest. Okay? Because it's a loan.
Yeah.
There's going to be interest on it, buddy. I don't know if you've ever had a loan before, but people don't just give you money for free. So he told us, like, this is ridiculously low. He's like $400 a month, right? My girlfriend's expecting to pay $500 to $600 a month, and he says $400 a month. Thank God my girlfriend didn't be like, oh my God, that sounds great. She was able to keep her cool.
Yeah.
Because if she said that to the guy, I was going to lose my freaking mind, because he did not do his math right. So as soon as he walked away to, like, his manager, I turned to my girlfriend, and I'm like, it's not going to be $400 a month. I'm going to just make that very clear. He did not do the math right. It's going to be like $500 or $600, you know, like we talked about earlier. Okay. So, you know, my girlfriend was like, yeah, I figured. And I was like, okay, good. Because that was pretty bad.
Damn,
so anyways, they come out, and I'm like, you know, well, hey, you know, we only test drove one car here. I want to run over to Hyundai and test drive their cars before I make a decision, you know. And then he's doing his standard dealer thing where he's like, oh, no, don't leave. We want you to buy our car. You know, so he's like, well, we actually have a Hyundai Tucson here for you guys to test drive. And we're like, whoa, that's so great. And he's like, yeah, it's used, but it's only got like 5,000 miles on it. So not even really that big of a deal. So we're like, well, while we're here, whatever, let's entertain them. Let's drive their stupid used Tucson. So we get in the Tucson, and I think my girlfriend liked it a little bit more than the CX-5, but like not by a substantial amount.
Yeah.
Right?
Not enough to sway her?
Well, yeah, not enough. I mean, she wouldn't care. Like, at this point, she just needed a car.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm sure if she had to pick between the two, probably the Tucson, but it's like, if the price is better than the CX-5, she would take the CX-5, right? Like, it wasn't a significant difference at all. So, you know, we go in and we're like, wow, that's pretty nice. You know, what kind of price would you be looking to sell this thing at? And since it's used, they tell us the price would be like around, it was 26, I think.
Okay.
So it had 5,000 miles on it. I did the math as we were driving away, which I guess is kind of a spoiler alert that we do end up driving away. But like the miles that were put on the car were like equivalent to probably about $1,500. So if you take that into consideration, they were probably going to sell this car for like $27,500 for a used car from a dealership that doesn't make the car. So take that into account. Okay. So it's the equivalent to spending $27,500 on a new car. Okay, so anyways, we're like, well, hey, we still want to go over to Hyundai. We want to try a new one. We want to see what kind of interest rates they can offer us, what kind of deals, you know, they can give us over there. And finally, Mazda let us go. They're like, all right, we're not going to force you to stay here anymore. So we go over to Hyundai, and we really only wanted to try the Tucson, which we already test drove. because the other cars, the Kona and the I don't even remember, had like just really bad reviews.
Oh damn!
Online, they were like not very good, but the Tucson had pretty good reviews. So we were looking to try that one. So we walk up, and again some dude greets us, and we're like, "Hey, what's going on?" And the dude, no offense to him, great guy, but he had a pretty strong accent.
Oh.
So
you know how I feel about that.
You know how it is. Like he was a great guy,
Yeah.
really good to work with, but it.
So what kind of accent? Like what kind of accent?
I think it was Hispanic.
Oh.
Because he started talking Spanish to a guy.
Yeah.
One of his coworkers, I think.
Yeah.
So,
That's not as bad as some.
Yeah, no, it wasn't too bad, but it was, it was definitely something there. But anyways, we're like, hey, we're looking to drive a Tucson, and this one was a little weird. He took us, just down the lot. He didn't take us inside. He took us down the lot to the Tucsons, and he was like, oh, here you go. You got this one with these options, this one with these options. And we're like, we have anyone have no options, since we don't really need all those fancy features. And he's like, oh, let's see. And he keeps walking down, and he finds one. He's like, oh, here you go. This one right here. And I look at the price tag, and it says 31.
Okay.
There's a 31 on it, and I was like, that's pretty pricey. That's pretty up there. Like I said, we're trying to get an under 30. That's the goal. We're trying to get hopefully around 27. Would be cool, but under 30, and it's over 30. So, but we're like, hey, let's just test drive it, so that way the guy can be happy. So we take it for a spin, and it's the same car that we just drove. So,
damn.
My girlfriend's, she already knows what it's like. She likes it. He does show us how to adjust the steering wheel, so my girlfriend got a little bit more comfortable in it, I guess, which was cool, I suppose. And then we're like, yeah, it was pretty cool. And he was like, yes, I think you might want to buy it. And we're like, yeah. When I asked him, I was like, you got any deals or discounts on their website? They showed a $2,000 rebate and a $1,000 dealer discount on their cars, which would bring it down to $28,000, which would be pretty good. So I was like, do you have any deals or discounts on it? And he's like, yeah, come on inside and I'll see what we got. And I'm like, great. So we go inside and we sit down at his desk and he offers us water, standard dealer stuff, as you would expect. And, he pulls into his computer and he types it up and he's like, and sure enough, just like I thought, he's like, yeah, I got a $2,000 rebate and a $1,000 discount on it. I think there's another $500 somewhere. So the price of the car was $27,500. Or 20, was it 28? No, it was just 28. My apologies. It went from 31, and then he had a $1,000. Was it? What was it? I don't know. There's another $500 somewhere because then they add on the $500 admin fee. Anyways, it ended up being 28. Okay, $28,000 is what he showed us for the car. If we just had cash and handed him $28,000, he would hand us the car. Right? Yeah. That was what it was. So it was 28, and we're like, that's under 30, right? And we're like, hey, that's under 30. Girlfriend likes the car. That's pretty good. You had to compare that though to the used one, right? I said the used one was $27,500, but it's used, right? You don't know what the previous owner did to it.
Right.
It only had 6,000 miles on it, so they probably didn't do too much to it. But you're really gonna save $500 to get a used car? And you have to drive back to another dealership. First, you got to leave the dealership you're at, right? Which is always a hassle trying to leave a dealership. So, you'd have to leave the dealership, go back to the other dealership. It would just be, it wasn't really worth $500. And I would say, paying an extra $500 to get a brand new car, pretty worth it.
Yeah, that's not that big a difference. And I personally don't like anything that's used. Just for that reason, like you said, you don't know what happened.
Yeah. And also, you're getting it from the dealer, we're getting it from the Hyundai dealership. If you buy a Hyundai from a Mazda dealership,
yeah.
It doesn't seem like you'd be getting all the perks. Because, if you have an issue with your Hyundai, you can call the Hyundai dealership and be like, hey, I bought a car from you. Now they want to help you because you're a customer. Yeah. Right? And they can answer it because they know Hyundai. If you call the Mazda dealership, they're like, we don't freaking know it's a Hyundai. Go call Hyundai, and then you call Hyundai, but you didn't buy it from them, so Hyundai doesn't want to help you. So it's probably just better to just buy it from the dealership that actually makes it.
So they'll want to help you.
So I look at my girlfriend, I'm like, you want to have them run your credit and see, what kind of loan you can get on this. And she's like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, okay. great. So they she puts in all her information. He's just like, all right, I'm gonna go take it to the finance guy and we'll see what we can get you. And then he comes back and he's just like asking a couple more questions. He's like, what kind of down payment can you put on? I'm like, we prefer none. We can put whatever down payment's necessary, but we prefer none. And then he's like, so 1,000, 2,000? I'm like, that's not what I said. I said we prefer none. Fucking do whatever is necessary, right? And he wanted a number, so whatever. We just said it fine to 1,000, 2,000, whatever. So I turned to my girlfriend and I'm like, he's probably gonna make you put a down payment. Girlfriend did not want to do a down payment, because then she wouldn't have enough for the sales tax. Because in case you didn't know, here in Missouri, the sales tax is not included in the price of your car. You pay that separately when you register the car, which is really annoying for people that are not told at the dealership, because they'll be like, oh great, I got a car for $25,000. I can put $2,000 down on it. That's how much I got on my bank account. Great, I got the car. And then you go to the DMV to title your car, and they're like, hey, we need another $2,000 for sales tax. And you're like, I just put that for my down payment. I don't have any more.
Damn.
And then you're writing on expired tags. You don't have that, but whatever. It's a whole mess. But good thing my girlfriend works at the DMV.
Yeah,
so
that's
she
what I
knows
was gonna
this.
say. Yeah, she's a veteran.
Yeah, she's aware of this, and she can prepare. So she didn't want to do anything down. So then she wouldn't have anything for the sales tax. So I turned to her and I'm like, they're probably going to make you put something down. If they're asking about that, it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, darn, that's not good. I'm like, well, it is what it is. So we're sitting there waiting for quite a while. And the dude comes back, and he gives us, ridiculous numbers. Like crazy high numbers. It was insane. I was like, I don't know what... it didn't have the interest rate on the piece of paper he handed us. But, I ran the math really quick, and it was, over 10% interest rate, which is obscene. 3% right now is a pretty good interest rate.
Yeah.
If you can get 3, realistically, we were probably looking around 5 to 6 is what I was hoping for. And this was over 10. So it was just absolutely ridiculous interest rate.
So pretty much double of what you were hoping.
Yeah, but the way interest works, right, it's not just double, because interest, it's compounds on itself. So you add an extra 5%, you're not doubling the extra amount you pay. You're multiplying it 1.2 or something like that. So, it was just a ton. And I was just like, wow, I'd really love to know the interest rate, because this is just a lot, of money.
Yeah.
Over the course of the loan, we'd end up paying $38,000 for a $28,000 car, which is, that's a lot. Yeah. It's not worth paying that much. And so the dude who's, helping us buy the car, he doesn't know anything about interest rate. He just sells the car, right? He doesn't know how loans work. So he's like, well, let me go get the finance guy out to talk to you about it. And so the finance guy comes out, and he comes out just with better numbers, right? He just already came out with them. We didn't have to ask him for them.
Yeah.
He just came out, and it's like, oh, I was able to get you a little bit better. And now he's giving us a little bit, he's giving an 8% rate, which was still pretty high, right? Again, I'm looking for 5 to 6.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's still pretty high, I was like, my bank, I've seen they'll do interest rates for 5 to 6, and I pretty much told him, I was like, I'd like to shop around and see if I can get a loan somewhere else for a better deal before we sign on this.
Yeah.
And the dude was like, what did he do? He was like, did he end up bringing us more? I don't know. It was so much numbers and stuff. It was great. I loved it. I like numbers. But he was like, hold on, I've got an idea. Right? And I was like, okay. So he runs off, and we were sitting there, and then we had to listen to this other dude who wasn't even the one selling us the car. Just some other salesman who just finished talking with his guy that he was trying to sell a car to. And he just starts talking to us for guy was 10 minutes, man. He was just talking about how great the Hyundai warranty is and all this crap, and I'm just like, buddy, I don't care.
So he was trying to give his man an assist, basically.
Yes, yeah, he was trying to give his fellow colleague help on the sale there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and what he was saying, it was pretty good points, but it was just, he just kept fucking talking. It was like, buddy, I don't want to hear you talk anymore, man. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. So, anyways, we just let him talk, let him do his thing, and what is going on here? Am I doing something wrong? No, there's another one. Okay. And finally, the dude comes back, and he's like, okay. So the thing was, now we're getting into crazy number theory. If you don't understand it, you can just skip ahead a couple of minutes. So essentially that
lose me.
the $2,000 rebate was only available on the higher interest loan. So either we got the lower price of the car but had to pay more interest, or we got the lower interest rate but had to pay more for the car. So like it ended up just like not mattering. The $2,000 rebate practically didn't matter. So the dude his idea was he slashed the price of the car by like $1,500. So we ended up paying, $500 more because the rebate was $2,000. He can only slash it by $1,500. But then we could get the better interest rate. So we ended up talking it out, doing stuff like that. Ended up doing the best offer that I could find it was like a 7% interest rate that he was offering us. Around there, like 7 point something percent. And just a little bit higher than I was hoping for at the 6%. And the what was I saying?
You lost me a long time ago. I'm just gonna be
7% interest rate.
You start talking about percentages and shit.
$28,500 for the car. So like we did some quick maths on my calculator, and it was like 33 or 34 over the course of the loan, I think, or 32, somewhere around there. It was like a little over 30. It wasn't the 38 that the first numbers were, which was just crazy. It was just a little bit over 30. Which I showed to my girlfriend, and she was like, yeah, that's a lot more reasonable. And I was like, yeah, that seems a lot more reasonable.
I don't want to break this. I know we kind of...
Gotcha. So what you do, you see these two little numbers right here? On the side, it's a little newbie.
Yeah.
And you see these little holes? Right, it's kind of hard to see right here.
Okay.
You put the newbies in the hole. Oh, fudge, what the hell? Newbie in the hole? There you go.
Okay. Right on. Thank you.
So that was a pretty good deal. I thought.
Yeah.
28,500, 7% interest rate, which for my girlfriend, who, has decent credit, but it's not, she's only, what is she, like 22, 21? So it wasn't the best credit.
You guys got so much life ahead of you. I'm so jealous. As I close in on 40.
So, and then we asked the dude if we could have a 0 down, because all the ones he showed us, I think at this point, required like 1,000 down, all the numbers. And so we asked him, we're like, can you do 0 down? And he was just like, yeah, I can do that. And I was like, why didn't you start with that? Like, what are we doing here? And I don't understand why you wouldn't start with the best interest rate.
Maybe
I understand not starting with like the slash price.
Maybe they don't like to do that. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not like... hey, you don't lead with that. If we can get suckers to, maybe they just,
they like showing that they can get it lower?
Well, like how, if we're not technically supposed to process a request for someone over the phone, but if they just won't get off the phone, you'll go ahead and do it for them.
But it's like, why would you, if you could process it over the phone? Like, if it was a no tax due, and you could just do it over the phone.
Well, no,
why wouldn't you?
More like a vendor no tax due.
But that's not the situation.
And they're like, my deadline's tomorrow, and you just want them to get off the phone. Like, maybe they want to give you the shittier deal,
But what do they stand to gain from the shittier deal, is what I don't get.
Like, more money, right?
But they don't. Because presumably,
I don't know, man.
Because the loan is with the bank, not the dealership.
Oh, well, yeah.
So if the interest rate is higher... presumably they don't get a cut of that. I mean, maybe they do. If they do, then yes, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But, I wouldn't expect them to get a cut. That's the bank's money. That's what the interest rate is for. It's for the bank. Why would the dealership get a cut if they're able to sell a higher interest rate? That doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever.
Shit.
It all worked out in the end. So my girlfriend got the car, and she's really happy now. And, yeah. I think that's the end of the story.
Yeah?
So, and I told her she needs to, because the loan payment for the 6-year loan is, because it was weird, the interest rate for the 5-year loan was higher than the interest rate for a 6-year loan, which doesn't make any sense. You don't have to know numbers, just trust me, it doesn't make any sense. So we signed the 6-year loan to get the lower interest rate, where I told my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, just because the paperwork says you only got to pay $500 a month, you need to pay $600 a month so that it gets paid off sooner.
You think the glass on this needs to be facing me or outward?
Does it not show you in the picture?
Well, I'm sure it does, but I can't fucking tell.
Outward.
Outward, so okay. So, I know you don't really pay much attention to music or, any pop culture, what's going on currently, but,
right.
Has there been any memes that have spilled into your universe about this latest, rap beef that's been going on?
No.
Oh, man.
No rap beef.
It's been a lot of mudslinging in the hip-hop world, man.
Has it? Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, it always leads back to, tinfoil hat theory, but, just people...
How does it get back there?
Well, because, I don't know if you've ever heard, the rumors that there's this, secret society that controls, Hollywood and music. You getting a Zoom call?
We're going to have to give a quick pause here. Continue.
But yeah, it's been a lot of,
Sorry about that. I had a call I had to take.
A lot of mudslinging and a lot of, So there's two sides, and there's, the popular, everybody likes this side because it's the popular thing, and then there's the more artsy-fartsy, abstract, only you get maybe an album every, 3 or 4 years. So it's, big industry versus...
3 to 4 years? Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, so it's, if everyone is to be believed... Then, on one side, you have a woman beater and a race shamer versus...
Race shamer?
Well, more
How do you shame race?
Well...
Why are we not just calling them a racist?
Well, yeah, okay. So, yeah, woman beater and a racist versus pedophile and culture vulture.
What is a culture vulture? I know what a pedophile is.
Someone that, dips into a culture just to, reap the benefits of being associated with that culture, and then they go away and, don't really do anything to help that culture. So, basically just kind of, picking the scraps.
Okay.
For their own. But,
yeah. So just being efficient is what you're telling me.
Well, and that's how a lot of people look at it. So... yeah, it's been a lot of good music that's been released. This last weekend was nuts, but yeah, I didn't know. I didn't figure rather that I just wondered if some of the memes had maybe spilled over about
who are the rappers? Maybe say their names.
Drake versus Kendrick Lamar.
I've heard the names. I did not know there was beef.
Yeah, but yeah, apparently this has been brewing for over a decade, and they've hated each other. But have finally given each other enough of an excuse to start slandering one another. It's been nuts, man. Just a lot of,
So hold on. One of those guys... I thought both of them were, pretty respectable artists. You're telling me one of them's a pedophile and one of them's a racist?
Well, yeah, okay. So if everything's to be believed, and this is all allegedly, of course, because I don't know. But if everything's to be believed, Drake has a thing for, barely legal girls.
But they're still legal.
Well, okay. So... You familiar with Stranger Things from Netflix?
Heard of it, never seen it.
Okay, so the lead from that is a girl, her name is Millie Bobby Brown. I don't know, one of those iterations. Okay. But she plays the character 11 on that show. And when her and Drake met, she was 14.
Okay.
And he was such a big fan that he took her to dinner 2 nights in a row. They exchanged text messages, I miss you. And he gives her advice on dating. It's just all, super weird shit like that.
It's not weird, man. That's not weird at all.
That's very weird you to text a 14-year-old girl you're not related to, I miss you.
I mean, that one,
That's fucking weird.
But, you're a big fan. He's a big fan of the show.
Of what?
Of the show. He likes Stranger Things. It's just man, it was really meaningful for him to meet... a star that he admired,
That's fucking weird, bro.
I mean, if you had an opportunity to, who's your favorite rapper, okay? Imagine you...
He's not 14!
Let's say you were 14 and you had the chance to meet your favorite rapper, man.
Well, right, no, it's not weird for her. It makes total sense. To her, it's the biggest rapper in the world's a fan of me. Of course I'm gonna go.
It's just the same thing for him, man.
It's not...
It's the same thing.
It is not the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's fucking weird is what it is.
Look, taking someone to dinner and helping them with their relationships. I mean, it just sounds like he's being a father figure, honestly.
But okay, she has a father in her life.
So I mean, you can't have two. What's the problem with that?
Oh my god, dude! What are you talking about right now, man?
Look, I'm just saying. It doesn't sound that bad. I mean, yes, the miss you thing. Okay, that's a little weird.
That's very fucking weird.
It's a little
dude.
weird. Okay, but maybe he just just get a little caught up in the heat of the moment, man. Like it happens. We all make mistakes in the heat of passion, right?
Well, if that was one isolated thing in itself, that's weird. But okay,
right.
But then there's also been they dug up posts. He was really excited. Billie Eilish turned 18, and he was one of the first people to wish her happy birthday.
Now, was he close to Billie Eilish before she was 18?
Okay, but even if he was, that just makes it that much weirder. Why?
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, you're right.
Why are you friends with her before she's 18?
Well, I was gonna say him being the first one to do it. If he was, her friend beforehand, and they were knew each other in the space, then it wouldn't be too crazy that she's wishing her a happy birthday.
He has a famous song that he wrote as an adult called "Teenage Fever."
Just reminiscent about the teenagers, man.
Just a lot of little weird stuff like that. But yeah, and there was rumors of there being moles and both of the camps and misinformation being fed. But like I said, just a lot of great music was released over the weekend out of it. Now, granted, there are a couple of songs. Kendrick released a song called "Meet the Grams," which it's worth a listen. Just to hear the accusations, but it feels like you're watching a horror movie. The instrumental is very unnerving. What he's saying are these terrible, horrible accusations, and it's you feel it's not a good experience. But I mean, it was the whole thing. They'll probably talk about this long after we're dead. If they're still talking about rap music, just the whole, because there's never been there's been rap feuds before, obviously, but there's never been a rap feud to where both sides are releasing music within the same week, let alone the same day. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're going back and forth against each other. And it was incredible. And as much of a Drake fan as I'm not, I can still even admit that even from his side, incredible music was made, and it wasn't just him versus Kendrick Lamar. There's about at least 10 other people in the music industry that are mad at him too. So his attention was divided, and he was kind of just they make jokes they're calling him Dranos, because it really was the Avengers of rap formed to try and take him down, and he fucking held his own for a while before things. So
Kendrick Lamar, you're telling me, is a racist?
Well, not necessarily a racist, or not a racist at all, I wouldn't say, but a lot of people, Drake's argument was that he tries to make black people feel they're not doing enough as black people, you know what I mean? He's real pro black, so it's he Drake's stance was you're always trying to present yourself as someone that's so of the culture, but yet your wife's not 100% black, and you've cheated on her with plenty of white women, so basically calling him a hypocrite, more or less. Not necessarily a racist, but just
I'm just looking at the accusations here. Gonna say the ones against Kendrick Lamar seem a lot less substantiated.
Yeah, and there's not really a much worse accusation than you can have thrown at you than you're a pedophile.
Yeah, that one's pretty bad. That one's up there.
As bad
that
as
one's pretty bad.
Yeah. And they're ragging on him for cosmetic surgery and being a culture vulture, like I said. But yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah,
and what's the big deal here?
Yeah,
I don't see what the problem is.
The pedo stuff.
You don't like it, sucks to be you if that's how he believes and what he thinks. He can be that way. But yeah, the pedo one's pretty bad.
Yeah,
pretty bad.
It's about as low as you can go.
Yeah, you don't love to hear it, but
Well, like I said though, granted, if you're into that sort of thing, you've already heard about it. But a lot of great music did come out of it, at the very least.
Oh, that's good. at the very least, if there's going to be a pedophile in the world, at least good music can come about of it.
Right, yeah, like, hey, rap some good raps.
Yeah, if you're going to be a horrible person,
yeah.
at least contribute something.
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, hey, folks, let us know down below if you're a pedophile so we can report you to the police. What are you laughing at, dude?
Well, that is true, yeah. You do deserve to be locked away. So, yes, please let us know.
Yeah, let us know if you're a pedophile.
So we can get you out
so
of
we
here.
can put your name, address, and then just put in text, I am a pedophile.
Yeah.
And that way we'll just send that to the police, and they will presumably come knock at your door and hopefully lock you away so that you can't hurt people anymore. There you go.
Yeah.
We on RomeBros do not endorse being a pedophile.
Yeah, no, man.
So don't do that.
Yeah. We're not
It
about
is
that.
Uncool.
Not about that life at all. But that's about all I had as far as like current events. You want to dig back into the questions for a little bit?
I think we can
Okay.
hit the questions. I think was there anything else? Oh, I gotta talk about some phone calls I had at work.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh! So I had the one call that I messaged you about. Lady has 2 businesses.
Oh, and they both got dissolved.
Yeah, they both got dissolved. Between the 2, she owes over $50,000. And
man.
it dates like all the way back to like 2016.
What kind of businesses are these?
Honestly, I didn't even want to ask. But it's just like you're looking at the account, like she has never paid, like ever, right? Like she's been on multiple payment plans.
So she'll set them up.
Has defaulted on all of them.
But just never made a payment.
And just never pays. Like you can tell she's one of the ones who like sets them on a payment plan and then just like forgets about her taxes.
Yeah.
Like maybe she'll make the payments if it's set up for auto draft, but she's not filing the new periods and paying them.
Oh, so they just default as soon as anybody catches on.
Yeah. And it's just like,
golly.
why do you? It's like so obvious that you're just trying to get on the payment plan so you can get the tax clearance, so you can get reinstated, and then just continue to not pay your taxes. Like it's just abundantly clear you have no intention of ever paying your taxes.
I would have zero sympathy for somebody like that.
I have absolutely none. Yeah. Anyways, and it was like a 40-minute phone call with this lady, and I was trying to be nice about it. I was like, hey, you need to file the taxes that were just due, a couple of weeks ago. They're missing now. When you got set up on the payment plan you were on before, they weren't due yet. Now they're due. You need to file them. You should have filed them before and paid them, but we're not going to get into that.
Jesus Christ. So, I mean, did you get any kind of sob story? Like, was there a fire or a flood or a death?
No, I didn't get a sob story.
Nothing?
But at the end of it, she wanted to complain that, like, she apparently someone told her at some point that we didn't have her phone number on file, and that was why she got dissolved.
Oh,
and it's like, that's not why you got dissolved. You got dissolved because you owe $50,000.
Yeah, it's not like we would have been calling, or like,
Well, you did call. It was actually you who called her. Because, we tried to call all those businesses that were going to be dissolved to let them know, hey, you're going to be dissolved. Maybe you should take care of this. Of course, in her case, there'd be no way for her to take care of that. It's not.
But, I mean, like you said, a payment plan at the very least. Like,
no, dude, frick that. She needs to... Look, if you're watching, lady... No offense to you, I'm sure you're a great person, but you need to stop doing business, okay?
Well,
it is not acceptable.
Like, when do you just be like, okay, all of this debt, like, that's what I don't understand. Like, did she just think that, she could just keep putting it off and stay afloat until they shut her down? Or
I'm surprised she hasn't been shut down already.
Really. I don't understand what the out or the end goal was there. Like,
I don't know, man.
Fucking
crazy.
That makes no sense.
Am I missing something? No, that's just how it is. Okay, I see. I've got it. But anyways, she wanted to be like, oh, well, I can't believe you guys didn't have my phone number on file because, anytime you register with the government, they're going to ask for your phone number, and I haven't changed mine in, years. And I'm like, lady, it doesn't matter. Okay, you owe $50,000.
Yeah, and scammers are the ones calling. We're not going to be fucking calling back. Like, I called her that one time, but that was a special, exception.
We have called her one time in the last, 10 years that her business has been running. It's like, you really expect for us to really keep your phone number on record here.
And I'm sorry to interject again, but just a PSA to anyone that is listening. If you have a business, nobody is just fucking logging in and checking your account every day. There's a lot of other businesses. So it would take, a lot of manpower to just, so if your account's fucked up, oh, how is this the first time hearing about it? That's your responsibility. I hate that misconception. It feels like that they do really think that,
We just check every account every
like,
day.
There's somebody that's gonna log in and just check accounts and make sure, like, oh, gotta be like, nobody's gonna fucking call you. You know?
We don't even know if you're still in business.
Yeah. I don't know what your business is until we pull up the account. Like, I always have to tell people, like, okay, sir, I know that, like, you're worried and, like, I know that this is a serious thing, but this is the first time I'm looking at your account. Like, this isn't information. Like, they talk to you as if this is things that you should already know. You know?
Yeah.
It's like...
They get pretty wild with it. It's just
Yeah.
like, buddy, just pay your taxes. Like, it's just really easy. If you pay your taxes, and you keep record of the fact that you paid your taxes, it's great. If we call you and we say, hey, we're showing you didn't pay October, you're like, I'm pretty freaking sure I did. You open up your book, you say, boom, it's right here, my check cleared. Great.
Yeah.
We can easily fix it.
We don't care. You know? It's not like they act like we get a bonus or something if they owe. It's like, no. Like,
no, we don't care.
Yeah,
Like, if you don't want to pay it, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
That's your problem, man. I'm not an auditor or a prosecutor. Like, I'm just here to, if you want to pay your taxes, I can help you. If you don't want to pay your taxes, get off the phone. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, let me talk to somebody that does.
Yeah. So there was that one. And then I had another call with the dude. And look, to be fair, he was told some pretty inaccurate information before the phone call. So, you know,
Not
those
me,
ones
right?
are always...
I didn't tell him anything wrong. Okay.
It was an individual that will not be named for hopefully obvious reasons.
Oh, damn it, our unit, though.
Yeah.
No.
So they call up and they're talking about the SOS letter. I'm like, oh, I got a letter. And then the agent was like, okay, well, it looks like you got dissolved because you owe like a shit ton of money. Mm-hmm. And so the dude's like, okay, can I pay that? And the agent's like, yeah, sure, I can take your payment. So they take the payment, great. And he's like, okay, how do I get back? Well, you need to get a tax clearance, so send in the form 943. Okay, great. Sounds good so far.
Yeah.
All right, so he sends in the form 943. And along with the form 943, he includes, if you scroll down, the proof of his payment that he just made. Right? Sounds pretty good. So he sends that in. And the agent who processes it didn't scroll down. So didn't see that he paid it, and it hadn't processed yet. It was still in processing. So he gets a denial back saying he needs to pay the taxes again.
So he paid again?
No, he didn't pay again.
Oh
So he calls and gets me, and this is when I come into the play. Okay? And, you know, he's like, hey, I got a denial letter that says I need to pay taxes, but I already did, and I have that. And I'm like, great, this easy phone call. I just verify that it was paid, and then I just reprocess his clearance, right?
Yeah,
Simple enough.
Easy peasy, yeah.
Easy peasy. No issues there, right? We all make mistakes in the heat of passion. No big deal. So, pull up in the account, and, of course, he also hasn't filed 2022.
Corporate?
Corporate. Yep. So,
shit.
he had balances for corporate. He paid those, but he also hadn't filed. And no one up until now apparently told him that he hadn't filed 22. It wasn't on the denial, and he wasn't told on the last phone call he had. So...
You're going to have to tell me off camera who did this.
So, you know, and I'm sitting there, I'm searching anywhere I can find to try to find, you know, was he changed to an S corp? You know, was it like hiding in the email somewhere and I didn't see it? Is it suspended? Is there a parent company? Like anything where I can just clear the student, get him off the frickin' phone. And I can't find shit. I spent like probably 10 to 15 minutes trying to find out why the heck this agent did not deny for corporate 22, and I could not find anything. So finally I come out and I'm like, you know, I see the payments there, sir. That's fantastic, but I'm also showing that we're missing 2022 corporate.
Yeah.
And the dude's like, yeah, I know. I'm working on it. I haven't gotten it in yet. My accountant's working on it. I'm like, that's like the best case scenario. He didn't like freak out or anything. He admitted to that not being in and said that he's working on it. And I'm like, great. And I'm like, well, fantastic, sir. Once we get that in, we can get you that tax clearance. And now, of course, he wants to derail and be angry. So he's like, well, but I paid everything that was on the denial letter. And I'm like, well, yes, but the agent who made the denial letter, you know, forgot to include your 22. You got to be filed and paid to get a tax clearance.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of should go without saying. And so he's, you know, trying to be like, oh, but I paid it. I did everything that the letter asked me to do. Blah, 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 blah. Why wasn't I ever told? You know, all your standard bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, sir, I wish I could, but like, the letter that I'm going to give you says you have filed and paid all your taxes. I can't give you a letter that says that if you haven't filed and paid all your taxes.
Yeah, that's kind of...
And so he's like, well, can I speak to your supervisor? And I'm like, well, she's actually on vacation right now, but I can definitely get a supervisor callback for you if you'd like. And he was like, is there anyone above that supervisor that's here.
So he's trying to take it.
Yeah, he's trying to take it way up there.
All the way up the
And I'm like, well, yeah, I can definitely let him know that you'd like a call back, but, they're pretty busy. I can't guarantee they'll call you back before my supervisor gets back. And he's like, well, can I speak to another agent? And I'm just like, wow, you're being a real fucking bitch, aren't you, buddy? And I'm like, I can't transfer another agent.
What's another agent going to tell him that you couldn't, though?
I don't fucking know. I don't know what he wants.
So it was just at that point, like, he's mad at you and you failed.
I guess.
So just anybody but you.
Anyone but me, apparently.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm like, I can't transfer you, but if you want to hang up and call back and hope you get another agent, you certainly can. Which is what Kayla told us, right? That was what she told us. We can't transfer you, but if they want to call back and try to get someone else, they can.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I told him. And then he was just like, okay, well, put me down for the supervisor callback thing then. And then he hung up, and I was like, all right. So I sent Corey a message, and I was like, hey, there's a guy.
Shit.
And she was like, okay, send it to Kayla. I'm not dealing with this. And I was like, fair enough.
Damn, for real?
Yeah.
As far as, like, the callback? Like, so it's got a... Well,
It wasn't like 3 o'clock on Friday, though. So.
Okay, so this was yesterday.
Yeah.
So then, so then she just has to call
she was
him
just
on
like,
Monday.
yeah,
Okay,
she was like, Kayla will take care of it on Monday, yeah.
Damn.
So, yeah. But yeah, he was being a little whiny little bitch, man. And I'm just like, man, if you just... And plus he said, like, he had a loss, too, for the year. So I'm like, dude, if you just get the return and just, like, email... Like, if you could email the return right now. Like, I know you don't have a return, but if you just email it to me, I could just do it for you. I didn't tell him that, but, you haven't filed your taxes, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. But I've been trying to, like... Things have still definitely been pissing me off. Like, especially, like you said, like, a super thick accent or something like that. But, like... I've just been trying not to dwell in it. I'll allow myself, like, 5 to 10 seconds to actually feel the anger and, like, revel in it. But then after that, like, it's like, okay, you're done with it. That's not part of the day anymore. And, like, it's been, like,
It's good, yeah. That's kind of what I do.
Yeah, you just let it go, And,
yeah, you'd be angry for a couple of seconds, and then it's like, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's like, there's no point in, like, fucking getting a headache, scrunching my face up for the rest of the day just because you suck,
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, work's still been work, but it hasn't been, like, I definitely don't have headaches at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's great, man. I'm glad,
yeah, I've been trying.
I'm glad my, philosophy
can
help you.
I've been on Dr. Manhattan time, I have.
See, who is Dr. Manhattan?
Okay.
You keep saying that? I don't even know who the hell that is, and why it's related to my...
There was a DC comic called, and it's escaping me now, which fucking...
You want me to Google it? If I Google
I might
Dr.
have
Manhattan,
to.
will it come up?
Yeah, it's from a DC comic. He was a scientist. They did some...
Watchmen.
The Watchmen, yes. Yeah, I never would have thought of that on my own. Like, at least not until, like...
Oh, he is blue.
Yeah, and naked.
Yeah, and naked. Does he have a dick?
Yeah, in the movie. And it's like they showed this one scene where he's, like, running up the steps and his dick's, like, all flopping around. I'm like, man, that's a little distracting.
This picture, he does not have a dick.
But,
Not the movie, though, too. Looks like I'm looking at the comics here.
So they were working on, I think it was like some kind of particle accelerator or whatever. He gets trapped in the machine, and it totally deconstructs him down to the atom. But then he puts himself back together.
Naturally.
And he's kind of like this 4-dimensional being. He perceives time as a whole.
Okay.
So like, he exists, throughout all of time.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm on, like, Central Time? No, we're on Dr. Manhattan time.
On Dr. Manhattan time.
Yeah.
Time is a construct.
Yeah. And that's it kind of, because, like, he can, like, look at different moments in the past and, like, interact with them, but it's not the past for him. Like, it's all...
Yeah.
Yeah, just one thing.
It's all just one thing, right? Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, very interesting that he's just there. Like, the exact same philosophy that's in Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse-5 is just there. Maybe there's some inspiration there. What do you think came first, Slaughterhouse-5 or Dr. Manhattan?
I don't know. The Watchmen comic itself is pretty old, but like...
Is that 2009?
Is that? Or the
That's
comic?
what it said. When did Dr. Manhattan come into the comic? Was he pretty early on?
Yeah, he's one of the, members of the group.
Oh, that's the film, excuse me.
Yeah.
Watchmen comic release. 1986.
Okay, so yeah, that's pretty old. So damn, I was 1 year old when that.
Vonnegut, Slaughterhouse 5 release dates. I wonder if they're independent. Okay, so Slaughterhouse 5 came way before.
Oh, 1969. So yeah, maybe they did draw some inspiration.
So maybe inspiration from Slaughterhouse 5, or maybe it was totally independent and they both came up with a sort of thing. It's not too crazy when you when you think about time travel. It's it's a pretty easy jump to make, so it's not too crazy if they came up with it independently. But it'd be cool if they were inspired, and then I talked about it, and then you discovered the inspiration, and wow, that'd just be that would be like a crazy series of events through time. That was a stretch. I was trying to find something there. It was a bit of a stretch.
I see what you're attempting.
Yeah, you saw it. It was there. The attempt was there. It didn't work out, but
I think I've hit a snag here.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to pass you the book.
Okay. This was the easy one, remember? It was supposed to be the easy one?
Well, and that's what it's... I have the piece constructed. It's just the way that it's facing in the thing here. There's not enough room to make it face that way. So, like, this Geely is supposed to go there.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because then that don't work, right?
So that's what I don't know.
Why is this... Floof-tastic? What the fuck is going on here?
That was...
They want it... Okay. Anyways, so...
Yeah.
So the problem is you're probably missing a piece. Yeah. Let me go back.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. Way at the beginning there, yes. There's a white piece right there. So, you just gotta grab one of these doodlies. Shkabushity and Scriboshity.
Oh, okay. Well, that didn't
There you
take
go.
nearly as much time as I thought. All right.
No, it's nice and easy. A little one-piece mishap happens to the best of us. Well, I think that's all the stuff I wanted to talk about, so we're gonna...
Yeah, squeeze out
Well, let's see if we're at time.
We might have been the whole episode there.
Yeah, actually, we can, it's a little early, but not early enough for us to care. So hey, thanks for staying with us while we talked about the last 2 weeks of our life.
Yeah.
Let us know what happened in the last 2 weeks of your life down in the comments below. We still have got no comments. I checked just today.
Or, I mean, if you'd prefer to email...
No emails.
No
Check that
emails.
also today.
Okay. Well,
So, you guys suck.
We're going to need some engagement.
Yeah. You know, what's the point of us doing this podcast and putting it on the internets if no one on the internet wants to send anything back?
I mean, like, if there are other topics that you would prefer to be discussed, or, you know, ideas that
We didn't talk about dicks at all this episode.
No, we talked about Dr. Manhattan's dick.
Oh, shit! We didn't talk about our dicks this episode.
Oh, well, yeah. Is that a theme? Like,
yeah. Well, Jennifer has been saying that. We talk about our dicks too much.
Oh, I did not realize.
There you go, Jennifer. No dicks this time.
Yeah,
not ours,
not
at
our
least.
dicks.
Yeah. So there you go.
Is that the title? We call it the Dickless episode.
It could just be Dr. Manhattan with just a black bar.
Yeah.
On his junk.
Okay.
I don't know if we can title it Dickless. That might be.
Yeah.
Might be TOS there. But we'll find. I mean, if we can try Dickless, I'm down for Dickless. I think that's hilarious.
Dickless in Seattle.
Dickless in Seattle. When else do like D and then asterisk.
Okay.
Listen, Seattle.
Yeah.
There you go, folks. Dickless in Seattle.
And as always,
As always.
Dog jump off the bed?
Philosophy.